Welcome back to Hypotenmoose Kitchen. We're going to be multiplying two mixed fractions, but complicating this example is the fact that one of them is negative. We haven't looked a lot at how to deal with negative numbers in this model, but we will today. I won't be using the kit. I will be using drawings that are similar. So first thing up is I want to create a length that is 2 holes and 1/2 long. So that's our 1, 2 and a half. I'm going to identify this as negative by just sort of crisscrossing that line so I recall that I'm talking about a negative amount. This is, I can't think of a good example in the world that would have us multiplying negative 1/2 times 1 1/4. But I can promise you that those kinds of skills will be useful when you become more algebraic in your thinking in later grades. This is 1 1/4 along our vertical dimension, and it's going to remain positive. And we are going to create the rest of that rectangle and then identify what kind of pieces we have. Well, this is, it's certainly an area of 1, it's 1 by 1, but it is a negative 1. This is a negative 1, a negative 1, and a negative 1/2, making up negative 2 and 1/2. This is a total negative amount. If it's on a number line, if this is 0, it would be 1, 2 and a half over on this left-hand side. So it'd be this mark over here. So this is a negative 1 piece. And this is a negative 1 piece, so I'm going to just actually call them negatives up there. And negative 1/2 times 1 is also negative 1/2. And here we have negative 1 times 1/4, which is negative 1/4. It's a 1/4 piece, negative, defined by that sign. Same here. And this one, well, we have some knowledge about how 1/4 and 1/2 intersect. It's 1/8. 1/2 of a quarter is 1/8, or a quarter of a half is 1/8. We can model that with our kit if we need to. It is negative 1/8. So now this product, because those negatives in this one of the factors or one of the dimensions have really had impact on every one of these smaller products, all of these numbers are going to be negative in the end. The sum of all negative numbers have to be negative. So we have negative 2. We have a negative 1/2. We have 2 negative 1/4 and a negative 1/8. And this becomes an addition problem now. Negative 2, a negative 1/2, a negative 1/4, and a negative 1/4. Well, that might be worth just grabbing some kit pieces in case that's not something that's easy. So I need 2 blues. We're going to pretend they're not, whether negative matters or not. These 2 blues and 1 red give us 1 hole. So let's just deal with that here. This is 1 hole, or negative 1. That gives us a negative 3 altogether, and an extra negative 1/8. So this is negative 3 and 1/8. There we did. Continuing on that previous example, I'm going a bit more symbolically here. The negative 2 1/2 is expressed as a negative 2 and a negative 1/2, and the positive 1 1/4 is expressed here as 1 1/4. And this is a method of multiplying. It's called the grid method of multiplication. And see if this appeals to you. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 1/2 times 1 is negative 1/2. Negative 2 times 1/4 is, what would that be? Negative 2/4? To get that, I can imagine 2 pieces of 1/4 in sides. I can instead take 2 over 1 and multiply it by 1 over 4. You have a few options there. And here I have negative 1 over 4. We've talked about that, 1 over 8, sorry. We've talked about that already. We have either 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 4 is 8, or we can think more visually. 1/2 of a quarter gives you an 1/8 strip. Grace, who was in one of the videos earlier, called that a fraction bacon. It was that, it was this purple strip. Or you can take 1/4 of a half, which I look here and taking this into 1/4 pieces, which also gets you here. Okay. And then we would add this up, much like we did over here, okay, to get again to our negative 3 1/8. But this allows you to be working when numbers get really big and you can't necessarily make a picture. You've got this grid that can help you multiply.